Hello and welcome to another episode of Alex's Afternoon Art Show. Today we're continuing that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 mural, and just before this episode I realised that this camera does not have an autofocus at all. So anytime I lean forward like that I just go completely out of focus, which means that in all likelihood during these videos in the little corner I've been completely out of focus the whole time. Regardless of that fact, we can move on, knowing that there is in fact no autofocus. I can live with that fact. It's just a case of where I need to be set in and around this kind of area without to remain in focus. So yeah. But yeah, today we're drawing Psylocke. We're back to characters that someone might know, surprisingly. But yeah, we'll move on now. We'll actually start the video after that shocking realization. Okay, so now that we're back, I'm beginning to realize that there are, in fact, a lot of we're beginning to actually get towards the end of our characters within reason. I don't want to show off too much of what's going on over there, so we'll just do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and then we'll just get rid of those, and then get rid of all of these as well. I can keep those in. That's everything over there. Now, so Psylocke, I don't anticipate taking very long today, primarily because there's actually very little of her on show, which, you know, I may as well just remove the Capcom characters. We don't need those right now. There's actually surprisingly little of Psylocke on show, because it's a side pose, so it's a case of where probably don't have to worry about that taking up too much space. Yeah. And so, yet again, I've done that thing which I always say, and it's that I've forgotten to get my reference out. But yeah. Yeah, no. Psylocke is one of those odd characters because I know nothing about Psylocke. Despite the fact that she's from the era of X-Men that I actually kind of am aware of, being the 90s. It's a case of where Psylocke is one of those characters that kind of passed me by, in a sense, because she wasn't really in the animated series. And yeah, it was a case of where, I mean, she was in it, if I remember correctly, but she only had like a cameo. Same with a lot of those characters, they were only really in a little bit of it, even though they were all from that same era of the comics. Right. I'm getting my reference out here now, so yeah, okay. Never quite understood the whole story with the scar because it's not actually on her sprite. It's not on a lot of the art, it's on some of the art. Not all of it. Only some of it. I could probably have gotten away without doing it, because it is quite distracting. I think it's a scar anyways. Could be a tattoo. I don't know. I don't know what it's supposed to be. I think it's a scar, but it's a very specific shape. So it very well could be a tattoo. I'm thinking that I might not actually put it in as part of the details. What I might do is I might just do that in color. Now that I think about it. Yeah. I'm thinking. Trying to use my brain. I'll probably just detail it, but I'll just do it thin. I'll try and do it as thin as possible anyways. Well, I'll start here now, and then I'll reconvene once I've reached the point where I actually want to say something. Okay, I've been taking a few little breaks as I've been going here, so I'm just kind of saying this to break this section up a little bit, because so far I've got what, like, we're nearly an hour in, and yeah, it's been fairly straight as we've been going. I've made a few minor adjustments. I don't know what it was about whenever I did this batch of base sketches, but I seem to, maybe I was maybe I was just, I don't know, having a day or something, because yeah, for whatever reason, like, some of the faces were a bit weird, because you can see it looks a lot better now that the inks are in. It just looked kind of strange before. I don't know what I was doing, what the story was, because yeah, it's a lot better now at least. It's not as strange looking now. But yeah, I'll carry on. Okay, so as you may have seen, that took a little longer than I would have liked. Primarily because the perspective on these feet were really getting my goat a little bit, and I'm realizing I missed to put a few lines to put in here. So there should be something like that showing up. If only just a little bit like that. Should maybe be appearing. But yeah, that took a little longer than I might have liked. Again, if only because of the feet. Because this is the issue, is that it's not shoes or boots technically. Well, I mean, they are boots, but the shape of the foot in them is much more close to, I don't know how to say it. It doesn't come up in a cap quite like a boot normally would. It kind of slants down out to the toes like a sock might, but they're obviously not socks. So it's a kind of a different situation, really, that we're left with. But yeah, that's that part at least done. So I'll move on to my dots. Yeah, there are a few other little things which I had to adjust. Like I had to adjust these leg bands or whatever they are a little bit. I had to adjust those up a small bit just so that they fit a slight bit more. Fit the reference and fit the overall look of things. But yeah, I'll move on to this part of the process. Anyways, yeah. Okie dokie. So there's our dots done. Now next on the agenda is the colours. So I'll probably end up reusing another skin tone, because this is something I can do now because I'm lazy. I can just reuse skin tones rather than having to make new ones. So yeah, just in order to save myself some time here and there, because we're already an hour and 15 minutes in, but there aren't going to be many colours here, so I don't have to worry too much about that. I reckon I might just make a slight alteration to reuse skin tone, maybe make it a slight bit paler, and just an ever so slight bit more on the orange side, and that should work for us. We probably want something more in tone with the same skin tone I used for a lot of the Asian characters so far, because Psylocke is supposed to be Asian. A lot of art would not make that clear, but yeah. What's odd is that she had pink eyes. I never noticed that. Does she not have pink eyes? She has in this art, anyways. Weird. Anyways, I'll start moseying along with this, I think. Yeah. Okay, let's. Oh, whoops, zoomed in way too much. Anyways, I'll start going here. Okay, so we've done our colours. I had to do a whole bunch of little tweaks there to make that to make the kind of energy here look okay, because it's kind of a funny effect. Because the way the effect looks in a lot of the art I'm looking at here is it varies between just being the one solid colour that kind of overlaps the hand, and to then being completely underneath the hand as being a separate thing entirely that just kind of sits around back here. I'm trying for some reason to demonstrate this with my hands, even though it's not going to work. But yeah, it kind of works as being that kind of, yeah, as I say, that energy. And the way that it looks on the sprite is kind of how I went with here. The purple goes a little further, the darker color goes a little further down to about here. It kind of reaches around the knuckles. The kind of the lighter part only really sits around just the bare outside of the hand. But based on the way I did it, which was via effects, it's not going to work that way. I could have done it the other way. I could have just done it by hand, but then you wouldn't have gotten the ever so slight fading that I wanted here. I would have had to have gone in with like an airbrush or something like that and then remove it slowly. I didn't want to have to do that, so I figured this would be the easiest way to do it, and it looks fine. I think it looks fine. But yeah, yep, so now we've just got the shading, and then it'll be the light line, and then we're done. So yeah, it's surprisingly not as long as I would have thought this time. I say not as long, but we're nearly 2 hours in, and by the time we're done it'll probably be like 2 hours and 10 minutes, so it's about the same length as they normally are, but just, I suppose, within reason. Within reason, not as long, I suppose. Anyways. Okay, so we've got our shading done, and we've got our colours done, and everything else. So now it is just the light line. And we're at that point in the day where the light level is low. Generally today it's not actually been as bright as the last few days. So it's been a case of where I've been trying to kind of make use of that, but because that does seem to actually help with the encoder bizarrely. But yeah, it seems as though today has been a much duller day, so that has not made it easier to do this. So I've been kind of trying to just cross my fingers and hope the encoder doesn't crap out at any point, and it kind of did a little bit at the start, but for the most part now it's actually been okay, bizarrely, even though the light is lower than it was earlier on. I don't know. Anyways, I'll do this light line and then we'll wrap up. Okay, and that's us. There is my frame rate on the webcam has gone low here. I don't know what's going on there. It's something to do with the way this thing registers light, I think. Just whenever the light goes low, it just starts. I just start moving around like I'm going around at like 10 frames a second or something. I don't know. Anyways, that's us done. There's Psylocke. Yeah, I don't really have anything more to add. We'll zoom out. Probably do about 12%, because look at how small that is now. We'll need to have her like pressed right up against the edge there. We're going to want to add incrementally the rest of our characters, and there's all the Marvel characters we've done. So there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9. There should be 9 on this side as well, because this is character 18. There we go. Yeah, my brain was failing me there for a little bit. Alright, right. So, it's Zangief, it's Sun, and that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, 18 characters so far. Turn off our background. And yeah, so it's at either side here we've got 2 characters who, at least color-wise, have something going on with the lightsaber and then with the energy. So they've got something a little bit more going on than some of the other characters in terms of the kind of effects and things like that I gotta do. Indeed. Our lighting is, yeah, not great. Anyways, we're getting distracted by the webcam. I think it's fine. It should be okay. Just as long as it doesn't cause any desync later on, I think it should be okay. Because editing will probably be a lot harder if there's a bunch of desync. Anyways, I'll start signing off. Getting distracted and sidetracked. So who we got next time? We've got Tronbon next time. That's our next character, I believe. She's there, yeah. So Tronbon is our next character. And that'll be Rogue. Rogue will be our next Marvel character after that point. So, that's something to look forward to for next week. Is Tronbon. I'll probably have a lot to say there in terms of drawing cartoon characters and all this stuff, because there'll be a lot of circles and straight lines and stuff because of the mech suit. Anyways, that'll probably take a while, but yeah. As I said, 2 hours and 10 minutes on the button so far. Anyways, time to wrap up. So, I'll just say my normal little bits. So if you like the video, do what you normally do. No pressure. If you would normally click that like button, or what it is that you do, smash that like button, all that nonsense. If you normally do that stuff, go for it. But I'm not going to make you do anything. It's the same deal with subscribing. If you want to subscribe, go for it. If not, all the same. I would obviously like it if you did. I'd appreciate it greatly. But if you choose not to, oh well. I'm sure you had your reasons. And if you decide to watch the next video, I'll see you next time. So, I'll say goodbye, and then that'll be us. Until next week. So, bye-bye.